And we are live. Welcome back to the Pistons Jack subscriber only stream. This is live stream number 6, number 5 of the off season so far. We're going to be doing these every day of the off season. Every Friday of the off season at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join the Pistons Jack subscriber group, it's over on Instagram. There's details in the description below. We have a really cool community over there with Pistons fans from all around the world. Today, we're going to have Zave join us from up in Queensland, Australia. And then we've got Prince joining us from Atlanta in the US to talk Pistons and potentially some other guests. We'll see how we go. Plenty to chat about on today's stream. First of all, I just want to talk about the NBA Finals. We have our first Game 7 in the NBA Finals since 2016 when it was the Cavs versus the Warriors. Very famous series where LeBron got his first ring. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's not the most Pistons related thing, but there's still some angles in there I want to talk about with the Pistons. And just what I've seen in this finals and how it can kind of connect to our team in Detroit. Shout out to you, Al. Then we're going to talk about, there's been plenty of discussion, at least for those that are on Pistons Twitter, about Jaden Ivey. So I just wanted to share my thoughts on that and get everyone's thoughts on Jaden Ivey and where they're at with him and just how the fan base views him, because he seems to be the most, what's the word? It seems to generate the most conversation and split the fan base up, at least from what I see, is people's opinions on Ivey and the type of player he can be. So we'll talk about Jaden Ivey, and then we'll talk about some of the off-season stuff, mainly with Santi Aldama, the sign and trade kind of discussions around him joining the Pistons. But there hasn't been a lot of other off-season news, but we'll see. If you want us to talk about any players or anything in the chat, fire away. But I'm going to bring up my man Zave in just a second, and we're going to get into this. What's going on, brother?
Hey!
How are you, man?
Yeah, good. How are you?
It is. It's cold here in Melbourne. It's freezing.
Yeah.
Like, how's it for you?
It's warmed up a little bit over here, but a couple of weeks ago we did have our pipes froze, so that was just
Oh,
a bit
really?
rough. Yeah.
So for those that aren't from Australia, you're meant to be from the warmer part of the country up north. Melbourne's way down the bottom. It's a bit colder, but it sounds like it still gets pretty cold in the winter for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like been like, I think this morning was like 3 degrees Celsius this morning. So yeah, as long as the sun's out and the sky's blue, I don't mind the cold weather, to be honest. It's just if it's raining and windy, that's when I'm like, nah, this is miserable.
No, absolutely,
But let's dive into some NBA Finals chat. And Stevie J, I see your comment. We'll get to this one in a moment. But let's dive into the NBA Finals. Have you been able to watch much of it? In particular, yesterday's game?
No, I haven't, if I'm being honest, but
no, that's
did not expect it to go like this at all.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've chatted a bit about it, and I kind of thought, I mean, I didn't expect the Pacers to get this far at all. I thought they would lose to the Celtics, but they obviously just keep proving everyone wrong. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Yesterday I sat down and watched pretty much most of Game 6 against the Thunder, and I honestly thought the Thunder were going to close it out, and the Thunder were up 8-2 early, but then the Pacers just went crazy, and I think it got to 30 points at one stage, and they end up just completely blowing out the Thunder. But I guess where I want to take this is, like, I think one of my biggest takeaways from watching this finals between the Pacers and Thunder is just how valuable it is to have young, athletic talent on your roster. Like, just from what I've seen, like these teams play incredibly hard. They're both talented offensively and extremely talented defensively. But the thing that just sticks out to me is how fast they get up and down the court at times, and just how physical it is. And I think if I tie that back to our Pistons, if it's kind of made me even, I spoke about Kevin Durant 2 weeks ago or a week ago, maybe. now it's almost just watching this finals unfold is just making me realize, like, just cementing it even more. Just like, unless there's some crazy like superstar we can get, like Devin Booker or something, man, I'm just all in on this young core. It's just further cementing it for me, I think.
Yeah. You definitely seen it from the stat sheet. They definitely been playing more of a team than the Thunder have. So that's definitely what's helped push them forward as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And like the Pacers, like, I'm not sure if this is something the Pistons can really incorporate, because I don't think this is how like Cade operates and probably the team we have, but the Pacers ball movement, like the Thunder, you can tell like they're the best defense in the NBA, one of the best of all time, according to some stats. And like the way the Pacers just move the ball at times, like it's like, I don't know, like if you had like a coach in basketball that's like ball movement always just like beats any defense. Like when you pass
Yeah.
that ball, no one's quicker than that. And it's like the Pacers are making the best defense at times just look like absolutely exhausted.
Mm,
But yeah, like I know you've been big on keeping the young core together. But
absolutely.
and I have as well, but I think I maybe got a little bit sucked into maybe like adding a Kevin Durant at the right price. But honestly,
Mm,
watching this finals and really locking into it the past few games, I want to say like it's just been like, wow, you need young, fresh legs, athletic guys that can make plays. And I feel like we've got a few of those guys for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, we do. Yeah. Mm,
Um, like like you got Ron, you got Asar, and like even JD, like just the importance of grabbing a rebound. And like, have you had a chance to watch back any of the playoff highlights from the
Um,
Pistons games?
pretty much the only ones that we've won, pretty much. That was pretty
Yeah.
much it. Mm,
Yeah. No, I've only watched game two, and was it game two? And must have been game five we won.
yeah, yeah.
And like,
Mm,
I think the things that stood out to me in those games were just how, like, I think Asar in game five and Jalen Duren in game five were awesome. And then
yeah,
in game two was like just how good Cade looked in particular, but also JD really stood out to me in both of those games when I watched them back. Just the highlights, obviously.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm.
Um, but yeah, any more takes on the finals or anything with the Pistons in the playoffs before I move on to some Jaden Ivey stuff?
Nah, not really. I think you covered it all, mate. Mm.
Oh, for sure. Let's do some Jaden Ivey stuff. I've got it titled here, "Should the Pistons keep Jaden Ivey?" I probably went a bit dramatic with that, but
Yeah.
I think it's more of like, maybe before I share my takes, like, what are your thoughts on what we've seen from Ivy so far?
Um, well, personally, I would love to keep him. I'm going back to Cade's injury season. You have Ji stood up, and he had the ball all the time, and he was just doing his thing, playing his game, minimizing turnovers, and that is something that we've struggled in the past couple of years, is that turnovers. And also, just this year, you can really see J9's development in his shooting. So if he can develop that with Cade's passing, mate, that would just be unstoppable, in my opinion.
I'm with you. Like, I mean, Jaden shot 41% from three, like this season on 5 attempts. Like, it's not like it's on 2.5 attempts. And like, he's a bit of a streaky shooter. Like, he's got a bit of that like Tim Hardaway Jr. in him, where it's like THJ shoots it a bit more, but it's like one game they might hit 4 or 5, the next they might be 1 of 8. But you know, the numbers, it was 31, 32 games, so not a massive sample. But he shot, like you said, 41% from three. And like, I think that obviously bodes well with him fitting next to Cade, but also like the guy like Asar and Jalen Duren. Like, um, so it's interesting. Like, I think some people might be like, well, he hasn't really, like, the biggest argument I see online is that Jaden doesn't really do, to this point in his career, he hasn't really established like an elite skill that he has. Like, you like, as in, you can see like the blueprint of what he can be.
Yeah.
But if you look at like JD, like Jalen Duren's an elite rebounder. If you look at Asar, he's an elite defender. If you look at Cade, well, like Cade's he doesn't need. I don't need to say anything
Yeah.
about him. But I think and I think that's where people are like, well, is he? Some people think the fan base get too caught up in like what Jaden Ivey's going to be in 5 years and that he hasn't really proven anything. But I don't know. I just think that's a little bit harsh. I think it's like
Well,
he's a young guy. He's shown lots of improvements to me. But sorry,
yeah.
you go.
He's definitely got the skills in his arsenal. Like you see him try many things throughout the games, and to me, it's just that versatility that kind of makes it exciting for me. Like if he can just
Yeah.
choose the right thing, then there's no doubt he can be probably one of the best shooting guards in the game.
Yeah. Well, and no, I agree. And I think a big thing for him is just consistency because he'll have these stretches where he does a lot really well, but then he'll have some quiet stretches. But I think as well, you got to remember, and I know a lot of the young cores dealt with this. So I'm not making just excuses for him, but like, he's had 3 different coaches in his 3 years. The Monty Williams thing, like he had a coach that didn't really believe in him for the first half of the season. And, that was its whole thing in itself. And then he's now got a broken leg. So it's like, in his rookie season, he was kind of just his co-star and Cade was kind of just gone. So there was plenty of more opportunity for Jaden as a rookie to grow, but he was kind of tossed straight into being the point guard for the team, which, I think Jaden's more of a 2 guard, to be honest. So not making excuses. I just think sometimes some players' developmental curve, it's just different. And I think he's still shown plenty of stuff. Like, I think he's a pretty clutch player. Like, of all the young guys, he's made the most clutch shots. So, but to back up what you were saying, I was like, I'm just going to jump on Basketball Reference and I'm just going to see how many players in their first season have averaged 16 points, 4 assists on 40% field goal and 35% three. So that's like through the first 3 seasons, who has averaged those numbers? Obviously, Jaden's one of those guys. Then just listen to some of these names. These are just the guards in NBA history we're talking here. Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, Kyrie Irving, Damian Lillard, Brandon Roy, Steve Francis, LaMelo Ball, Damon Stoudemire, J-Dub, Jalen Williams on the Thunder right now, Darius Garland, Gilbert Arenas, and Tyrese Halliburton. Like, I know sometimes these statistical filters, they're not everything, but it's like, I saw that and I was like, wow. Like, I know like production doesn't always lead to winning, but it's like, that's a pretty impressive list. No, like, it's like, does that surprise you at all?
Yeah, it does surprise me a little bit, but to me, that just shows how far he can go, honestly. And that's what I'm here for.
Exactly. Like, I mean, when you look at that, it's like, I'm pretty sure every single player there has at least been an all-star once. The only one I'm not sure about is Damon Stoudemire, but I recall him actually being a bit of a bucket, even though he was before my time. So it's like, and to be honest, some of these players are similar to J.I. Like, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, Steve Francis was like an athletic guard. Gilbert Arenas was a score first guard with a bit of bounce. Like, there's some guys in there that resemble what J.I. does. So I just thought that was really interesting. And I think it's like, for those that are a bit questionable of Ivy, I think it's just pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah.
But last thing I want to chat to you about today before I let you go, Santi Aldama. Do you have any thoughts on him? Because it seems like of all the reports and news, at least I've been trying to keep up with, that's the one tie that the Pistons kind of seem to be consistently linked to. Do you have any thoughts on him? Do you know much about his game?
I don't really know much about his game, if I'm being honest. I have heard he's like a pretty good 3-point shooter. Not sure how he does defensively. Do you have any stats on that?
Defensively, I think I think his biggest issue defensively is he's not he's 6'11", but he's not like the strongest player. Like he can get pushed around a little bit. He averaged like 5 rebounds, but it's like at that size, like I don't think rebounding's a strength. So, but he is like a big body and like can move like okay. Like he's not like a slow 6'11" type player. He's pretty like lean and light on his feet. So I think he'd be next to Stu or JD. That would actually like be pretty solid.
Yeah. So to me, it just seems like another Tobias Harris, which I'm not against, but at the same time,
I think
so
you're close. I think he's probably a bit more of like just a true stretch big. Like he can do some stuff off the bounce. I think like Tobias is a lot more skilled like in that mid-range area from what I've seen. I got to do more, but like I think if the Pistons do make a play for him, it's a lot of it has to do with being able to like have a spacing big man that you can maybe put at the 5 sometimes, but you can also just really space the floor and play those backup 4 minutes that they need when Tobias is off.
yeah. I
Like
mean,
you
there
said.
are definitely better fits for us, but
Mm.
like if none of those fits work out for us, we can consider Santi, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm with you. Like, there's definitely a lot better players out there. But I think if we're like, just based on the news we've gotten to this point, like he seems to be the most kind of realistic option that the
Mm,
Pistons could actually make a real play for and get.
yeah.
But the thing is, it might cost, because he's a restricted free agent at the Grizzlies,
Yeah.
it might cost like, 4 years, 70 million to get him out of there. So, but like it definitely helps in the short term for sure. And maybe he's your long term for, he
Yeah.
is only like 25 or something, 24. So, yeah.
He's got room, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Any other thoughts before I let you go, Zave, when we go to Prince?
No, not really.
Excited for the draft for Summer League? I'm excited for Summer League.
I'm
The
excited for
draft, I
Summer
don't know
League
what's
too,
going to
mate.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope we get to see more of Ron and Bobby.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, Clintman will play. I'd be surprised if he doesn't play at least 3 to 4 games. And then I could see Ron playing a game, maybe a game and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
Be good to see him out there.
Yeah, it would.
And then whoever we take at 37 or that kind of thing. But yeah, man, been good to chat.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah, you
And
too, mate.
we'll chat soon, bro. Catch up.
Yeah, thanks for having me, mate.
Of course, bro. We'll talk soon. Catch up. All right. We're gonna get to Prince in just a second here. Just gonna quickly go through a couple of comments before we bring up my man Prince. Jonathan's in here. Yes, sir. I still don't really understand that one, but I know it's a Pacers thing. Jonathan says, who is in Cade's circle? He determines the moves based on those who get his sense of style, humor. Is this for like who they could is this for like off-season moves with the actual team based on who Cade would like? I'm pretty sure Cade's circle is just all his family, to be honest, from what I've seen and got to know a little bit. During his fruit, wait until he's ripened. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of crazy to think the things I was saying back in October, November when JD was struggling to see his improvement within one season was crazy. Like, and that's like I said, he stood out to me. It was only the highlights, but just in the playoffs, how good he looked. I know he struggled against Cat sometimes, but stretch bigs like Cat are kind of his kryptonite. So, but yeah, he's going to be something special. I'm all the way in on JD after being a little bit skeptical to start the year, but can see some other comments here for sure, guys. We'll get to these after I've brought up my man Prince. Ooh, loving the new hat today, Prince. Wait, what can I see? Oh, I'm gonna move.
Can you
My
see
bad.
me?
Here we go. Yeah, got you. That
Good
hat's
afternoon.
fire. Is that
Thank you.
2006? Oh, 2004.
2004.
Oh, of course.
Lakers, Pistons, gentleman sweep.
Is that
What?
like a? You weren't even born in 04. Or were you
Mm-mm.
born in 04?
No, I was born in 2011 when we drafted.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think that's when we drafted Andre Drummond. No, it could have been a year later. Yeah, but yeah. What a day. I woke up out of my nap, so I might look a little bit sleepy, but woke up at a perfect time. It was 7:55. So
You don't
how
look
we
sleepy
doing?
at
How we
all.
doing, Jack?
good, man. I'm just gonna turn my lights on. I was wondering why I look a bit bland over here. No, I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't know if you're listening to what Dave and I were chatting about, but
Mhm.
I was kind of just interested to know, have you been watching the finals at all?
Oh yeah, I've been watching the finals. I haven't been watching it. I've been watching like bits and pieces. Like if I'm doing
Yeah.
something else and I try to watch a Piston game. Um. Yeah, the finals has been crazy, but within everything, I still think OKC in 7. Hopefully they win.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Pacers win, at least not in
Is
my
that
lifetime.
is that just out of pure hate for the Pacers?
Yeah, but there's this one dude on Instagram, and I love his like thing for the Pacers. He's so funny, but that's really the only reason why I was rooting for the Pacers. And I was rooting for the Pacers last game because I wanted to see a game
Yeah.
7. That's just super
Yeah.
cool. Hmm.
That's gonna be fun. I think it's on Sunday for you. It'll be Monday morning for me.
Yeah,
I'm
Sunday
gonna
night.
yeah, I'm gonna try.
Hmm.
Watch that whole thing. Because it's
I
the
wanted.
first one. You're probably too young. That sounds weird to say, but did you watch the 2016 Game 7? That was
Yes, I
the
did.
last one.
Yes, I did. I feel like that could have been probably, well, I remember specifically that's probably the first NBA game I've ever watched. My dad turned that on and he was like, "Look who's
Yeah.
right there. Who is that? LeBron James. He the GOAT."
Yeah. That
But
was I remember I took it must have been on a weekday for us here, and me, my brother, and my friend took like the day off. I was like, I wasn't I wanted LeBron to win. So I was like
mhm,
fully going for the Cavs. And
mhm,
like that was an incredible game.
mhm. I wanted to ask you something. Me
For
and my
sure.
dad, we were having a big debate on who would be a good trade target for Giannis. Personally,
Yeah.
me, I say Jaden Ivey. And the thing is, I love Ivy so much. I had a great conversation with him too. But
Yeah.
the thing with Ivy, I just feel like if it comes to being like Giannis, I love you to death, but that's
Oh,
Giannis. Like that's a Finals MVP, depoy, everything. He like genuinely, I would take Giannis. I'm
yeah,
thinking
for sure.
Ivy, Stu, Marcus Sasser, and a couple first rounders.
I think you're gonna have to give up a lot more than that.
Person,
Unfortunately. Like, yeah.
yeah, maybe we can even throw in a Paul Reed, but if anything, I feel like we have definitely the tools that we would need to get Giannis. But I feel like if he really wants somewhere to go, as Kendrick Perkins said, you should go over there with Cade Cunningham. This is
Yeah.
perfect. I feel like he would be great for our team. He would bring us past the first round. We would be winning series, and we would need that defense. That's all we need. I feel like Giannis will be the breaker
Oh,
for us.
Giannis would be incredible. Like,
Hmm.
I think honestly, to I think your trade's pretty close. I think they would want at least one of, like, you're gonna have to go Ivy, and then honestly maybe one of Asar or Duran. I think is what they would want.
Hmm.
And then you'd have to maybe throw Tobias in to make the money work, and
Right.
then you go picks, which like sounds like a lot, but like you said, like it's
No, definitely.
Giannis.
I
Like
I'd
yeah,
I'd give
like
up
Kate.
Tobias for anybody at this point. I
No,
know that's
it's
a huge hot take, but if it comes down to the wire
that's
and it's somebody that we really want, I'd give up Tobias for anybody, bro. Like he could
yeah.
go tomorrow. Like I love
You really
Tobias, but he can go.
yeah
He could go.
yeah. No, I think because if you have Giannis and Cade, like it's just kind of like you just build the rest of the team out, like with like players will want to come to Detroit, like veterans, like you would just make it work. And you
Right.
would keep one or two of the other young guys that we all love. Like
Hmm.
so you would have a really nice core.
Hmm.
But I think like you're gonna have to give up a lot. But
Yeah.
no, I mean like that's if we're because I want to talk about Jaden Ivey with you, but like if we're talking about trading Ivy, if it's just someone like Giannis or that, like that's what I was saying. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, of course you like do it because Giannis makes you like literally a finals contender in the East immediately with Cade.
Exactly.
Um,
And but yeah, speaking more on Ivy, I just think that personally Jaden Ivey, I'm not giving him up for just anybody. Like, if it really comes down to that, and I hope Trajan doesn't do that, but I feel like Trajan would. But at the same time, I'm not giving Ivy up for just anybody. Like, he has been a true role player for this team. And if he can just get a shooting game, like you said, if he could just find a shooting game, I promise he could really be anything that he wants. Like truly, I feel like Ivy will be there for us, and he's really Cade's right hand man. Cade needs him. That's what I think. Cade needs him, and Ivy will be there. So that's why I feel like we should keep Ivy. Not just we're not just gonna trade him for anybody, but if it comes to like a Devin Booker or a Giannis, hopefully not a Jaren Jackson Jr. But if it does come down to that, I think.
Don't you like Jaren Jackson Jr.?
What'd you say?
Don't you like Jaren Jackson Jr.?
I don't know. I used to live in Memphis, if nobody knows, but back before John Morant came, everybody had that JJJ jersey on. And it was like Jaren Jackson Jr., when I watched him, he was great. He was great defensively, and I feel like that's exactly what we need. But at the same time, I'm not willing to give up Ivy for him. Not me. Maybe Duran, but not Ivy.
No, that's tougher than definitely Giannis and like Devin Booker. But no, I think I'm just really excited to watch Jaden next season, because I think some fans will be like, well, as soon as Ivy went down, like the team was better without him. We didn't lose, like we didn't spiral, and if anything, the team kept going upwards. But it's like it's easy to forget, like when this team finally started to like actually gel and click was when they beat Phoenix, they beat the Lakers, and they beat the Kings. Like Ivy was awesome in all three of those games. And then they lose against Denver, which Ivy was still really good in that game, I remember. Or at least started it well. And then he breaks his leg the first game back against Orlando, which he was also playing extremely well in that game. And like I think like some people are like, well, the team went way better without him. But I just think the team just was like needed time to gel like in November, and they were just starting to figure things out in the middle of December. And then obviously Ivy gets injured. Like, what do you think, like for the people that say the team was better without him, what would you say to that?
I think they're wrong. I think that those people aren't real Pistons fans, because if you could really like take a look and watch every single regular season game, if you were that locked in, then you would know that Jaden Ivey was truly the reason why the team started to click, especially when it came to that Sacramento 4-point game winner. That was crazy.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I knew that Jaden Ivey was truly going to be something. Not only that, but the stats that he put up in that game too. I just think that Jaden Ivey personally is going to be one of the next greats, especially when it comes, because he's going into his 4th year. This would be Cade's 4th year too. So if Cade's going into his 5th year, Ivy's going into his 4th year. Cade was becoming an all-star. We got Dennis Schroeder, and then we got Stretch Biggs. It's like we didn't exactly need Jaden Ivey in the moment, but imagine if we had him in the playoffs. That's the thing for me.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely could have won that series if it came to Jaden Ivey being in the playoffs, because of his grit and the way that he would. Who would they match him up with? Max Payne, whatever his name is. I think that's his name. Campaign.
Yeah.
I feel like if they matched him up against him, Jaden Ivey would have went way farther, and I feel like it would have mattered more to him. That's why I feel like Jaden Ivey personally, to me, was a lot of the reason why this team clicked.
Yeah. And shout out to Maddie. I remember watching Ivy's college highlights and immediately saying, this is the guy we need to draft. Super excited to watch him next season. Yeah. I'm honestly, like, I'm excited to watch everyone, but I'm so excited. Like, I remember, and shout out to you, Maddie. Hope you're doing well, bro. I remember in just the preseason last year, like Ivy was the guy that everyone was going crazy for, like Pistons fans, because he just looked like so, like he had improved so much in the off season. Like he was making all these different, like he's making his threes, but he's also making like off the dribble, like mid ranges, and everyone was going crazy. And then obviously the season started a little slow for the whole team, but yeah, I think you're exactly right. Like if they had him in the playoffs, I think at least goes to game 7. And like you said, they can win the series, because at times the offense just got a little bit like just a bit too reliant on Cade, and he was like dealing with like, is my audio gone a bit weird?
Yeah, it's gone a bit weird. Like the Transformers.
What about now?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Okay. I was
Well,
like,
no, now
oh no,
it's
it's
back
gone weird
on it.
again. All right, 1 second. All right, is it still Transformers?
Hmm.
This is strange. Can you hear me now? Sorry,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you. Yeah, I
don't know
can
why-
still kind of hear it. It just takes a second for me to realize.
I don't know why it's doing this. Sorry, everyone watching. I can hear it coming back to me. Just give me one more moment. Apologies. All right, let's see how this goes. A little bit better.
A little bit of the same, but it's like the audio quality is better, but it's still a little like cracky.
Okay, we'll just try push through here for a couple of minutes, and if it's really bad,
Hmm.
we might have to end the stream. I can't remember where I was, but maybe we'll move on.
No, it's better
From
now.
the Jaden Ivey thing. Okay, cool. We'll see. This will be our final topic, and we'll wrap this up in case my
Hmm.
audio is not great. But your thoughts on the Santi Aldama to the Pistons kind of rumors?
I think Santi Aldama, he's a great player, and he's that exact stretch big that I feel like we need, and that's really what it's all about. That's really our. I feel like other than getting somebody for Cade, that's our second biggest thing that we should be trying to look for, a stretch big. And I feel like Santi Aldama would be good, but who do you think we would give up for him?
Well, I think if they do a sign and trade, the deal I've seen is like they would trade Fontecchio, and I think I maybe saw like 2 second-round picks, something like that, and there'd be a sign and trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I definitely throw Paul Reed in there. B-ball Paul is great, but he can go. And yeah, I take Santi Aldama. I definitely take him. He's a great player. He's a great player. He's a great stretch big, but I feel like him in Memphis just doesn't click. So I feel like him coming to Detroit is that exact defense that we need currently. Now there could be a lot of more people that we could have gotten, but I feel like we can get him for the best offer, and he has a future potential above ahead of him. So I feel like yeah, Santi Aldama would be great.
No, I think it'd be a really good pickup. I'm low key, like just as a pure fan, I'm kind of hoping this might sound bad, but he's just not the most exciting name to me, if I'm being
Exactly.
honest. But like I understand how he would help, but like I'm kind of hoping
Mhm.
Trajan's like cooking something.
Yeah.
Because I must admit, as soon as I start seeing like the Pistons being linked to certain players, like it might kind of makes me think that like it's not going to happen if it's news. Like it's more the unsuspecting things. Like I guess last offseason, the Tobias Harris to Detroit was a pretty known thing, but we
Hmm.
didn't know about Beasley. We definitely didn't know about Tim Hardaway Jr. and that trade.
But I feel
So
like at the same time, Beasley wasn't as big as he is now. Like I feel like when he came
yeah,
to the
no,
Pistons, his shooting was better, his playmaking was better. Everything really clicked for Beasley, especially. I feel like this season was definitely his best season. To me, definitely that season where he went was in the three-point contest. I feel like he should have been in the three-point contest instead of Cade. I feel like Cade being in the three-point contest didn't make a lot of sense to me, but hey, being a double
yeah.
all-star is great. That's really cool. But
No, I
yeah.
was confused by that as well. Like, obviously, I was happy Cade was in it, but I remember being like, Malik's like in the top 2 for 3-point makes on the season. Like, at that point, I was like, how is he not in this contest?
But then at the
But
same time,
yeah,
I don't think Anthony Edwards was in it either.
you might be right. You might be right.
Hmm.
But that was a bit strange. But I think obviously they went with the All Star. And yeah. Like,
Yeah,
it was
your
still good
audio
to
is
see
way
Cade
better
there.
now.
But okay, good. I don't know what happened
Hmm.
there. Sorry to everyone. Um, That was weird. That's never happened, or not for that long.
Hmm.
Yeah, 3-point contest was weird though.
Yeah, definitely. Um, I don't know if we can switch this perspective a little bit, but I do want to talk about some jerseys today. I'm a big jersey guy. So
Go for it. Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to see some red Summer League jerseys. That's the first thing I wrote down. Some red Summer League jerseys. And hopefully, let's just hope that we see the StockX logo on the jersey because I really don't want another jersey like, what's the name?
Did, I,
Sponsor.
I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, but did they have on last year's Summer League jerseys? Did they have the sponsors
No, they
or
did not
no?
have the United Wholesale Mortgage on it. And that was very
Yeah,
confusing to me and my dad. We thought that we were going to get somebody else, and we were right. And I'm glad we picked StockX. StockX is a great company to put on there. But I really hope we see StockX on there again because I don't want it to be another random little company like Flagstar or UWM. But definitely want to see StockX on there again. But um I wanted to see some red ones. I wanted them to bring back the little blue ones, but they were kind of like hit or miss. But those white ones, they really remind me of Ron Holland.
yeah,
Like those ones are nice. But yeah, those
yeah,
are all mine for summer league jerseys. Can't wait to see them and can't wait to see the players playing them. Um
yeah.
and another thing on the draft, I do really want to see Johnny Broom and I want to pick him. That's who we want to pick up, either him or Danny Wolf. But Johnny Broom
Yeah.
is really my true draft pick for me.
I like that. I like that. I wonder if he'll be available. Draft's going to be really interesting to see what the
Hmm.
Pistons do. But Johnny Broom, I know he's worked out with the Pistons. That was reported a couple of weeks ago. So they've obviously got their eye on him. So is that because he went off against Michigan?
Oh yeah, he beat the
Yeah,
brakes off
you
of
got to
us.
see like yeah,
But I got to see him. I got to see how he plays. I got to see how he leads
yeah,
his team. And I love to see that from him. He's a I think it's a 5-year senior in college. So I think he's going to be about 23 if we do draft him. But even still, I feel like the way he leads his team and the way that he already has that development, of course, he doesn't have any development in the league. But that's another thing that my dad said. He was like, even because I was talking bad about Jalen Duren today. But the thing is, he was like, but you got to think this if he would have graduated college, did his whole thing, he would have been a rookie this year. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And then he was like, but you got to think he's played what 4 years now, 4 years at an NBA level. Meanwhile, Johnny Broom has played 4 years at a college level. That means he's gone through
yeah.
multiple different guys. He know what it's like to be in the league. And now that he's at that age where he would have been a rookie, then I feel like he could be better. And I was like, yeah, Jalen Duren is a great player to me. But I feel like if we can get Johnny Broom, that would be a great win for us. And even though his vertical is terrible, I do think Johnny Broom would be a great center for us, especially when it comes to offensive. And if we needed somebody like Santi Aldama, that would be great to pick him up too.
Yeah, Johnny Broom, I saw that that viral video of him doing the vertical jump at the combine. That was crazy. I remember
Yeah.
seeing that at the time, but I didn't know who the player was. And then like, yeah, I
Hmm.
pieced it together. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, he would definitely be like someone valuable with what he can do on offense. So um no, I think wait, did he go to I think it was Auburn. Is that right?
Yeah, he went to Auburn. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, that'd be interesting for sure. And I think the age thing, I think a lot of players the Pistons will be looking at are going to be like 22, 23. That tends to be how
Hmm.
like that's the age range of like people in the early second round, late first round. So
Hmm.
the draft's gonna be fun. You know what? Randomly, a team I'm watching for the draft is the Pelicans because they just
Hmm.
hired I think Joe Dumas is like the
They
president of
did.
basketball operations,
Yes, they
but then
did.
they hired, I think Troy Weaver's their new GM.
Troy Weaver, I
I
thought he was just on the staff. Well, I
let
could
me
be
double
wrong. He
check
could be the
this.
GM.
I thought
Hmm.
I thought he had like a real title. He's the general manager of the Pelicans. Yeah. So
Wow,
I'm
that's
like gonna
crazy.
be very. So to me, like I feel like Troy Weaver. If you're hiring him, it's because you're looking to like. I feel like what he's known for is identifying talent, young talent in the draft. Like,
Hmm.
I would be surprised. You remember, I don't know if you remember, like, his first year, 2020, he made like 4 trades on draft night. for the Pistons.
Yeah. I do remember that.
He went crazy. He traded like Bruce Brown for some random player from the Nets. He traded Luke Kennard and like all these picks to get Sadiq. Made
But
another
then at the
trade to
same
get
time, he didn't get Halliburton.
Yeah, no, he took Killian, and then he made another trade to get Stu. So I'm like thinking like other Pelicans, obviously Trajan was with the Pelicans. Like, I don't know. I'm just keeping an eye on the Pistons as it relates to the Pelicans and just the Pelicans in general. Because if they got Troy Weaver, I feel like they've hired him to do like some sort of rebuild. And there goes my audio again. It sounds like.
But I feel like if they can have Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, why can't we have Tayshaun Prince? I feel like he would be the perfect addition to bring as a general manager to us. I feel like we should have got him last year.
I think he's like really well established with the Grizzlies. Like, I think he's like quite high up there. So maybe it's more like he doesn't want to leave. But I see what you mean. That would be cool to bring him back.
Like same way we had Joe Dumars in 2004. I feel like bringing in Tayshaun Prince would be great, but I see why that couldn't happen. It's business. I understand. But yeah, that's personally what I think on the draft. But me being a Michigan fan, I've also been seeing Danny Wolf. He is great. But the thing is, I feel like we don't need a very offensive center like what's the name? Danny Wolf. I feel like we already have that in Jalen Durham, but the thing is Danny Wolf is just so tall, but he needs to use that for defense. I feel like that's why we shouldn't pick him. We should get Johnny Broom over him.
No, it's gonna be interesting. I feel like it's gonna be fun. Do you like, last thing and then we'll wrap this up, but do you like how the draft's across 2 nights now? I kind of like it all as one big night, but
is this new? They made it across 2 nights now?
So last year was the first time. Yeah. So the first round's on, I think it'll be on Wednesday next week for you guys in the US. And then the second round's on Thursday. But like the first round's at Barclays Center and then the second round's at like some little studio. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because last year I remember when they picked Bronny James. Man, I genuinely thought we were gonna take him, but when they picked Bronny James, it was just like somewhere weird. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I think it's pretty cool. I think having that going, that's cool. But at the same time, it being in one night, I could see why that would be a lot to like manage,
Yeah. No. We'll see. It's going to be fun. But Prince, thank you so much for joining, man. Appreciate you as always.
Anytime. I'll see you next Friday.
All right, brother. Catch you. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too, man.
All right. Hopefully my audio is okay here, and we'll go to a couple of questions before I wrap this one up. Who we got here? Devon. I've been out the Pistons loop. No one likes me anymore. Come on, bro. We love you here. Love you here. We'll have to get you on the show next week. And I'm planning as well to do after the summer league and after the draft, going to do like some live streams after those. So we'd love to have you on, brother. But appreciate you. I'm gonna watch this later. I'm at a concert. Enjoy the concert, man. And can't wait to have you on soon. But let's get to a couple of comments here. Stevie J, Ivy will be coming fresh off an injury, and that would make his trade value as low as it can get. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with like extending him. I feel like he'll probably not want to sign whatever the Pistons offer him this season and potentially go into next season looking to like prove it and like get a max contract after his 4th year. But his trade value probably is at its potentially its lowest it's been throughout his career, just based on coming off an injury like that. So you're not wrong there. Al, do you think Turner is making a difference? From what I've watched, he's been pretty bad on offense. Like maybe rarely see him hit a 3, but he has been really good on defense. So, and I think he fits in really well with that Pacers team. And I don't think he's leaving the Pacers. But in terms of making a difference, like I don't think it's been a huge one. I think he's struggled, but I think he's the type of player he is still very useful even when he's struggling. And appreciate the sticker, Jonathan. Thank you for tuning in, my man. Last one here from JD. Can Ivy shoot? Can Ivy run the point? Does he fit the culture? I don't see it. So I think Ivy can shoot. That's what we were just saying. Shot 40% from 3 last season on 5 attempts, which is pretty elite. He's a bit streaky, but he can definitely shoot. Probably needs, I think his biggest area for improvement is like finishing in the paint and at the rim. That's where he struggles, but he can definitely shoot. That's for sure. We saw him hit game-winning 3. He hit, like, he's a good free throw shooter. So I think he can definitely shoot. Can he run the point? That's definitely an area for improvement. But I don't think he's ever going to be a true point guard. But if you have him, I would have liked to seen him alongside Dennis Schroeder. I think he would have really helped Ivy. So I don't think he's ever going to be a true point guard. He's going to be someone that you probably play, 8 to 10 minutes as a point guard throughout a game, and then he's always going to be alongside Cade or maybe someone like Dennis Schroeder. And does he fit the culture? I think he definitely fits the culture. I think that's why, like, you saw players, like, I think Asar was literally in tears when he saw Ivy get injured. And that's why everyone was so upset by it, because I think he is pretty much the culture. And yeah, everything I've heard and like speaking to people, like, he's literally fits the culture perfectly. I don't think he grew up in Detroit, but obviously his mum played for the Shock, and then his granddad played for the Lions. His dad didn't play in Detroit, but I think he's very much aligned with the culture of the team and the city. So, I think there's a fair question about can he run the point, but the other two, I think he's answered those and continues to answer them. But I appreciate the questions, JD. That's going to do it, guys. Appreciate you all joining. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more streams coming with the draft. Free agency, has some fun stuff lined up for that around July 1st. And then obviously the Summer League, I think, begins this year on July 9th or 10th. So I'll be looking to probably do fan reacts after all of those. So plenty of stuff coming up as we get into the fun part of the off season get to see some Pistons hoops again. We're going to probably have some new players on the team, new draft picks. So stick with us. I appreciate anyone that likes, subscribe, drop a comment below. Appreciate all of that. But thank you so much for watching. And as always, go Pistons.